because Arizona has come up with, I guess it's Senate Bill 1070, that treats people who look Hispanic like they're not American. I mean, the people paying the price for the lack of political courage to do comprehensive immigration are people of Hispanic ancestry. They can now be stopped in the street, divorced of their rights, and it's not fair. So,
a quick question on that one,
yes.
Governor. Like, do you think and you feel that the government, just as President Obama has done, should step in to, sue the states for those types of policies? I'm not agreeing with the stance that Arizona is taking, of course, but it gets really tricky when you start looking at the rights of the state versus the government.
Yeah, the 10th Amendment, right.
Yes.
Well, I'm a constitutionalist, and the states have the right for law and order in their state. They also have the right to fine businesses who repeatedly violate and hire undocumented. The state has a lot of rights here, but immigration is constitutionally spelled out as the power of the federal government. You cannot have an immigration policy in Arizona that's different from New Mexico. Mm-hmm. And that's what the founders, the people that wrote our Constitution, said very clearly. And I can't remember the section, maybe it's Section 8 under Article 1 in our Constitution, gives the Congress the power and the responsibility for national immigration policy. And because Congress, now let's get down to really hard questions here. Because the Congress has not done their job, they're gutless. And I was a member of Congress for 8 years. And Congress now is not what Congress used to be when Ronald Reagan was president and I was in the Congress. I mean, we did immigration reform there and had about 2.5 million people under amnesty.
So what do you think has changed? I mean, you have that practical experience of having been
money,
in the Reagan administration.
Money.
Money to what respect? Like, how is
money that owns the Congress? These guys have to get reelected. How do they get reelected? They go out and raise money, and they get it from the left or from the right, and it's polarized. It's extreme. Buddy, my PAC will give you $5,000 if you vote against every comprehensive immigration reform. Or, buddy, I'll give you $5,000 if you say that we won't secure the border. You can't be for border security, buddy. If you stand with me on this issue, you get $5,000. And here's how these guys get elected. They go around and collect these single-issue monies, and they get locked into a certain position, and then they quit listening. Why would you listen, Lily, if you're bought? Look at bank reform. Now that affects every person in the Hispanic community. That affects every American. If you can't get a loan, if you're forced to sign documents where the truth is not told, we need bank reform. I'm a banker. And look at what happened. Too big to fail, still the law. Capital ratios don't go up as a bank gets to be in size. Glass-Steagall was not reimposed, which was started by Franklin Roosevelt in 1932 and saved American banking. Now, look, all of these things, none of these things were done in banking reform, and the president goes to Wall Street and raises hundreds of millions of dollars from the banks. I'm telling you, if you want comprehensive immigration reform, if you want a president free to lead, if you want a son of a gun who has the courage to listen, who says, I'm a civil rights person, I believe in immigration, but I think it must be done legally. If you want that kind of guy to pull this together, then you got to follow the money. You've got to make sure that you get a president free to lead. You're not going to find a president who agrees with you on everything. You're not going to agree with the president on everything. But you need to find a president free to lead, a president who puts the country first, a president who tells the Hispanic community, look, I love you and I'll work with you, but we've got to do something legal, and we need it comprehensively. And while we do that, my first priority is creating jobs. We get jobs creating in America again, and then we turn to comprehensive immigration, and then we turn to energy policy, and then we turn to fair trade with China. Watch this country move. Watch this country be fair again. Look, when times are tough, when there are no jobs, when 20 million Americans are without work, when another 20 million Americans are just getting half pay, part-time work, this country gets to be belligerent. It can get to be nasty. I understand that. People are afraid. So a president has to be free to work with both parties. Look, I used to be a Democrat when I was in Congress. I changed parties and became a Republican as governor. I'm the only guy running who's been in both parties for 20 years. I can't do it alone as a Republican. I will bring Democrats into my administration. I will reach across party lines. We will build an America of opportunity, a place where immigration is a force, but it must be done legally. And the only way to get it done is comprehensively. Not just one little simple bill, but a process of listening, learning, and standing on the law. The people getting hurt the worst today are American citizens of a Hispanic descendancy who can be stopped on the street for no reason except how they look. It's not right. It's un-American. But it's a reaction to a system that's broken.
So talking about that, the involvement, I guess, or of the Latino leadership, because just as there are some that are struggling through the path to citizenship or are undocumented, there's a lot of powerful Latino voices in this country, and I'm very confident that a lot of them would be listening to this interview. What would be your call to action, or how would you encourage them to be more involved in politics at all levels of government so that this voice is heard, as you're saying you would be willing to listen to, and but clearly maybe there is something on our end too that we should be doing more of. So what is your recommendation for involvement in politics for all of us Latinos who care?
Well, let me say, first of all, that no member of the Latino rebels will be allowed to be part of my administration. I'm joking with you. I'm kidding. We need the best and the brightest. I mean, look, America's so good that
are the best and the brightest involved? You've been in Congress.
You invite them. You build a team that doesn't look like you. You build a team that looks like America. I mean, it's real simple. I have built $1 billion bank with no bailout money, no assistance from the federal government. We are fiercely independent and very successful. And my bank is filled with women. I'm not a woman. My bank is filled with Hispanics, Creoles, Cajuns, African Americans. I'm none of these things. But it's good business to have a team.
Why do you think that is not happening in Washington? Where is the gap? How do we start filling that gap?
Because Washington is run by people with money.